Jack Smith.
This is your internet buddy, Jack Smith. And, man, sleeplessness plagues me. It just plagues me. It's because Jack Smith's getting old, and old people don't sleep a lot. Or something. I don't know. I haven't slept in like weeks. Weeks, right? Well, why haven't I slept in weeks? Not only is Jack Smith old, but Jack Smith was part of the whole stock market madness. Jack Smith likes to trade the odd stock, as some of you know. All right? And actually the purpose of this video is just to keep Credit Suisse Bank in the algorithms of the internet, because they deserve shame, because they did a really crazy or crooked or cowardly or stupid thing, right? So I'm gonna lay an anecdote on you, right? All right, as I mentioned, and as we may already know, Jack Smith liked to trade the odd stock, right? And stock market was going like up, and Jack Smith decided to hedge for protecting his hard-earned investments. Not exactly earned. They just kind of sit there and grow. But, so yeah, started hedging. When one hedges for long enough, one eventually becomes contrarian, right? So anyway, Jack Smith was hedging with the VIX, because the VIX was historically low, the volatility index. So Jack Smith was hedging on ETFs that track the VIX, or ETNs as the case may be. Don't fucking write in and tell me that XIV was an ETN and not an ETF, right? I fucking know that. They behave the same, alright, you fucking autist? So anyway, Jack Smith hedging with ETNs and ETFs that track the VIX, right? So then the stock market goes kablooey, starts crashing, right? Jack Smith is prepared. Jack Smith springs into action, right? Increasing his positions in his tracking funds as the VIX went up, like any good trader would do, right? So like, market's crashing, Jack Smith's making money hand over fist. It was crazy. It was a crazy week. It was like the best week of my fucking life. And then Monday comes, right? Now Jack Smith has studied previous crashes in the market, and Jack Smith knows when you have a week when it is understood that the market is crashing, the following Monday is like super death crazy paranoid Black Monday. It's the as they say in France, the pizza de resistance of the whole mess. So Monday comes, and Jack Smith's trading his what was I in? My biggest position was in TVIX. So Jack Smith is trading his VIX stuff, and it reaches a point toward the end of the day. It was like, I don't know, like 15 minutes before the markets close for the day, and the VIX is at its maximum, absolute maximum. And Jack's like, I looked back over like a decade of the VIX, and it really didn't get any higher than it was on Monday. Like the VIX, it goes within a range. It doesn't go over a certain level, doesn't go below. It doesn't go below 8, doesn't go above 50 historically. So it was way up there. So Jack Smith is like, all right, I'm cashing out. So I cashed the fuck out. I was cashed out. I was fucking flush. I had all, and the computer's hanging up and fucking up. This piece of shit computer keeps hanging. It keeps hanging. I don't know why. Because it's a piece of goddamn shit. Anyway, so it's Monday, like a few minutes before the market closed, and I got all this cash. And the VIX is maxed out. So I think to myself, why don't I just put a big pile of cash in an inverse of the VIX, because the VIX is about to come down. So that means the inverse, which is probably down, is going to go back up again. So I took a look at an inverse, XIV, run by Credit Suisse Bank. And I was like, all right, I'll just put 10 grand in it. What the fuck? A couple minutes before the market close tomorrow, could the VIX go any higher? I don't think so. It's got to come down, right? And XIV makes money when it comes down. So I take a look at XIV. XIV hammered, just hammered. They lost like 30% in the past week. They were fucked. All those people who had been riding it up and riding it up and riding it up and making tons and tons of money, they were like 30%. So I dropped 10 grand in there. And, it comes down a little, and then it levels off at about 99 or something right at the close. And I'm driving home thinking like, boy, am I a smarty pants. Anybody who's like worth their fucking salt did exactly what Jack Smith did. You pull out of the VIX trackers, throw it into an inverse, and just get ready to make sure thing type money. A lot of people did it. And then that night, I just decided to look at it just so I could gloat about like what kind of like maximum mojo I have. And I look, and it is down like 90%. Now this is a fund or a note that is supposed to track the VIX. The VIX did not do that overnight, right? There are market makers who run the Credit Suisse funds who make sure that they adjust it so it tracks the VIX. I mean, they've been doing that since the inception of the fund. That's what they do. And this particular note, it resets every day. So the percentage of the day that the VIX does, the inverse, is a percentage that the fund makes. It's a thing. There's no after hours VIX going on all night long. There's no after hours shit that factors into the daily reset. Why would a fund that resets daily have after hours? Why would it even be open after hours? There's no fucking reason for it. So yeah, the largest holder of the fund, which is Credit Suisse Bank, obviously pulled all their money out and they crashed their own fucking fund, right? And then the next day, the know-nothing pundits, assholes like Jim Cramer and, people who like are fucking talking heads and journalists who happen to be investors. They're not traders. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't understand trading. they're all like, well, there was an inherent risk, and and I'm sure that's what Credit Suisse had to say. There wasn't it. There was a Credit Suisse. They're like the Nazis and the Vichy put together. Well, c'est la vie. C'est la vie. It was you didn't read the fine print. The fine print says we can do anything we want, and you lose your money. And oh, poor baby, why don't you have your eat a nice croissant, have a glass of wine, everything would be better. So, so people are pissed. I mean, some douchebag on Reddit lost like $4 million of his own and other people's money because this fund was just going up, 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 up for years, for like 8 years. People lost everything. Jack Smith didn't lose everything. Jack Smith, I had made that 10 grand so recently. Like I made 10 grand in the last week, so I wasn't emotionally attached to it. I mean, it was a green number, so it made me happy, but I didn't really think of it as mine because it came so easy. So it was like one of those easy come, easy go situations. But still, 10 grand buys a lot of fucking cheese sandwiches, man. Um, so I'm not saying someone should like fly to Switzerland and kill the market maker who caused this, because obviously he like went home to drink some wine and eat some croissant, and he let the fund be destroyed, or they destroyed it themselves. It's one of those two things. It's either gross negligence or criminal behavior, or at least really antisocial behavior. So if somebody who lost like $4 million goes over to Switzerland and like sticks a screwdriver in the eye of the market maker, or maybe in his guts, I hope the last thing the killer says before the guy goes to Valhalla is that, well, it was an inherent risk in running a fund like this. You didn't read the fine print of life that says if you ruin someone's life, they may kill you. All right? Jack Smith out.
I'm Jack Smith.